Today's Wednesday, August 10th, 2016, and you're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can help, visit their website today, www.eesf.org. Hey, everybody, got a short show for you today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It is good to be here this Wednesday morning where, yes, it is show number 437, week August 10th, 2016. Thanks for joining us today. As I mentioned, give me put my seat down. I did not oil my seat yet, so I got to take care of that. But anyway, as I mentioned in my my intro, shorter news, fewer articles on the program today, unfortunately. One of which was pretty darn bad. So I'm sure that many of you already heard about the accident in Philly. And we'll share more information as we learn more about it as details come out. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So I hope everybody's doing okay out there. It seems like I'm back to work, and the vacation mode is long over. And it's just busy. I'm telling you, just seems like every day is I get caught up and then just literally get slammed again, and just lots of unique projects which take time and energy and attention to detail and figuring stuff out, and that's just what we do each day in our day jobs. And at the end of the day, no matter how much people are screaming, just make sure you're taking your time and being safe out there. That's the number one priority you should have each and every day. All right, that's number one. Hey, how many of you out there are watching the Olympics? Anybody checking those out? I'm sure you are like me. I took my boys out to eat at a popular sports bar in our area on Tuesday night, maybe. No, that was Monday night, and they had all the million screens everywhere. It was definitely attention or information overload, but I'm enjoying the Olympics, although I really wish we could see more other events than just swimming and basketball and the women's rugby. Holy crap. Those women are strong, tough, and they make soccer players and football players look like wimps. I am telling you, they got no equipment. They're like ripping each other down to the ground. It is amazing. So check that out if it's still going on. But I just wish you could see more of the events than just swimming. I get kind of tired of it, but at the same time, you can't help but get wrapped up in seeing the American team. If you're from America, just kill it out there and understand how close all those races are within tenths of seconds is just to me pretty cool. I've always been a fan of the Olympics up until the point they allowed professionals to enter into them, because at the time when I was a kid, I always wanted to go to the Olympics, and I was training, and it was about amateurs. It was about the best of amateurs, and I think over time it got a little more difficult, and that line became more grayer as sponsors were picked up by athletes. But I mean, come on, the United States NBA basketball team. I mean, do they really need to go play against the world and to just kill everybody? I mean, secretly, I want to see them lose. But at the end of the day, those games aren't all that good either. It's like we were watching the game, and United States was like, threw up like 3 or 4 air balls, and so anyway, long and short of it is, I'd rather see a bunch of college kids go at it and just try to kick some ass rather than seeing the pros that don't seem to care a whole lot, do it on their own. So anyway, hopefully you're all enjoying that. If you've seen any, hey, speaking of which, I just want to bring this up. This is what kind of led me to this topic was some of the there are Olympics in other areas. I know each state has kind of their own what do they call it? State run best of the best kind of games. I forget what they're called. Illinois State Games, whatever. But wouldn't it be cool if we had such a thing for elevator mechanics who were, and not that they were judged on how quickly they could do a job or a specific skill set, whether it was, I don't know, putting a car station in or wiring up a panel, whatever. But wouldn't it be kind of cool to see, see kind of an event like that where not only safety, attention to safety was a priority, but also how well they did the job in being judged. I think that'd be cool. So can you imagine an elevator technician Olympics? They have some of those, in specific, or worlds, I guess you might want to call it, not necessarily Olympics, because that would be, worldwide. But I think it'd be kind of cool to see that. I don't know what kind of categories you would have. Maybe safety, maybe, wiring, maybe controller installation, maybe, re-roping job, just stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. So I know that the union IUEC is actively training, members in addition to on the job, training. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about all that stuff, and we'll get right into the show notes. So as always, go over to the Facebook page, like it if you like, and also we do post articles up during the week. And if you have a comment, question, please post it on over there, and I will definitely get back to you. The email account is still active. I get quite a few emails, but I don't get a chance to respond to them as quickly as I would like to. And as always, if you've got news you'd like to share, Facebook page would probably be the best way to do it right now. So not that I'm a huge Facebook fan, but it just seems like that's where everybody's hanging out these days. So yeah, check it out. It's just search Facebook on Elevator Radio Show on Facebook, or click on the home link or the show link, and you'll be able to find that. So, okay, up next, we'll get right into the news.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, first news article is kind of a recap of the internal...
At Christian...
Oh, sorry about that. Internal emails regarding the... situation where Donald Trump was stalled in an elevator, and I'll let everybody watch that on their own. Honestly, kind of can beat a dead horse to death with it, but the reality is that it's dumb. It's in what he said regarding slamming the state fire marshal and what he didn't know what he was doing. Again, I think is kind of not the best thing to be doing, especially in the media. But anyway, I'll let everybody watch that on their own. And again, just a recap, if you didn't listen to last week's program, Donald Trump and his entourage had to be assisted by the local fire department because they were stuck in an elevator after one of Trump's entourage personnel used a key to try to commandeer the elevator. I don't know which one that was, but it stopped shortly after. So, and then Trump went on to his meeting saying that more people should have been let into the presentation room and the fire, but the room that he was speaking in had a capacity limit on it. And, and anyway, I just can read about that all on your own. It's not a huge deal. Next article is the big one of this week that you should share. I'm sure you've all heard about it, but it's coming from police1.com. Apparently, Philly deputy was partly paralyzed after an elevator crash. This occurred yesterday at 10:51, or it was reported 10:51. Philadelphia sheriff's deputy is in an induced coma and is paralyzed from the waist down after he was injured when an elevator at the Criminal Justice Center crashed last week. Sheriff Jewel Williams said Monday. Sergeant Paul Owens, 49, was in an employee elevator around 10:20 a.m. Thursday for reasons that remain under investigation. It rose through the 15th floor ceiling of the 17th story courthouse and smashed into an equipment room. Man. unbelievable. I mean, I haven't read an article like this in the United States happening in a long time. I can't actually recall it happening. I've heard it in China, but this one, I'm sure more information is definitely going to be shared. Obviously, we our thoughts and our prayers go out to Mr. Owens and his family. Also, um, there's another individual in the elevator as well. This is not something that anyone expects to have happen in an elevator when they get on it. But the reality is, this is a pretty significant injury, and something did not go the way it was supposed to go. So very scary. I would not want to have been him. I would not want to be the elevator company. I would not want to be the elevator mechanic. I would not want to be the elevator inspector tied to this project. It's just one of those things where you think you had a bad day. Just read this article and see how bad Paul Owens' day was, and what kind of day the rest of anybody who's tied to this project has, is. And it happened in the Justice Building, so you're talking about attorneys, you're talking about judges. We'll see what happens and what the fallout is in this. But yeah, pretty significant and serious accident. I'm just hoping that the paralyzation of Owens is more of a just inflammation, and will go down, or kind of, I just hope it's temporary, but it's too soon to say. So very scary, very scary. So be careful out there, and whatever you think may have caused the incident, check on your routes. If you're a mechanic, make sure that none of the elevators on your route have the potential to do this, and do whatever you can, and make sure you're putting stuff in writing. It's one thing to say to the boss, hey, this needs to happen, and then another thing to realize that it's not going to happen. So, and if you are a contractor, and you are trying to get an elevator, a elevator owner or building owner to do something or make some kind of steps to make their elevator safer, this is a good article to kind of share. Not that it falls on their responsibility, but at the end of the day, if certain items are not upgraded, this could happen, and depending on what the result was. But yeah, terrible accident. I'm sure everybody's talking about this, and obviously we'll share more information as we learn it on the Elevator Radio Show. Okay, yesterday or the day before, there was a little blog post from Gene Quinn talking about the first patent on an escalator, and if you think about it, it was not by Otis or any one of the major elevator companies. It was actually by Nathan Ames. It was called the Ames escalator, or revolving stairs, as he called it. It would never be built, but it was the first patent ever issued on a moving stairway. So check out the photograph, kind of cool, and it was filed August 9th, 1859, so pretty neat. Kind of looks like the escalator at the Macy's, Macy's store in New York. Next article, RTA elevators keep breaking down. I'm going to click off this really quick. This is coming from Fox 8 Cleveland News, because it's going to blare something in your ears. I'm sorry. But this is talking about what they talk about, a freight elevator being used for passenger use, and the fact that it's in a building where the RTA, the Rapid Transit Authority, has one of their stations, I believe, and it keeps breaking down. It's not necessarily the RTA's responsibility, but they are spending money to get it fixed. So I think that's pretty cool, and going above and beyond. So they're doing what they need to do. Okay, boy airlifted to hospital after he fell over the side of an escalator. This is a 12-year-old, and this happened in the UK. Metro.co.uk reporting that a 12-year-old boy had to be flown to a hospital after he fell over the side of a supermarket escalator. I envision there will be a day very soon, well, actually, maybe not that soon, but or maybe talk someday soon that will it's just a matter of time when you're going to see barriers on the side of escalators to prevent this kind of thing from happening, and then also barriers on the front of escalators that prevent anybody from being pulled over the side, if that is indeed what happened. Because these kind of accidents should not happen, and if we can't stop the stupid YouTube people out there, then obviously we've got to take steps into our own hand in ensuring that equipment is safe, which it is, or trying to contain people that are riding the equipment so that they don't get injured. So I know I know there are many out there that would say, no, Tom, you can't put, barriers on the side. It doesn't meet code. You know what? You're right. It doesn't meet code. But ultimately, if it makes sense and it makes equipment and minimizes these kind of stupid accidents from occurring, which should never happen, then I'm all for it. So, but unfortunately, I know how long code takes to be adopted, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time. All right. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Okay, this next article is coming from the metronews.ca. It's a Canadian news source in Toronto, and the title of it is your elevator being inspected as often as it should be? Blame Ontario. If it says blame Ontario technician. Blame Ontario, and then there's a colon technicians, not blame Ontario technicians. But if you read this article, it's kind of the first article I've ever seen where the union has come out on record stating that the requirement to maintain elevators, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but this is how I take it. The IUC in Local 50 is talking about the fact that the elevators need more maintenance or need to be checked more often, and the article also leads or states some information that the elevator manufacturers don't have to do this, which I don't quite understand how that could happen, but I'm not 100% sure. So, do elevators need to be maintained? Yes. The elevator code right now specifies a periodic schedule. It doesn't state it has to be done every month. There are some elevators that probably need maintenance and care much more often. And I want to share a story with you, just not off the top of my not off. I don't want me to get off topic, but got a call from a contractor who. Oh, and I apologize if you're listening to this show. Please take this not the wrong way, and I'm not gonna, it's just to protect the innocent. I got this email saying, "Hey, I got this elevator that gets to the landing. It's a 30,000 pound unit, or capacity 30,000 pounds. The customer loads the elevator up and doesn't put the weight, the full weight in the middle of the car. They put it on the side. And so what happens, the elevator gets to the landing, and while one side is level with the floor, the other side is literally jacked up 3 to 4 inches. So the question was, can you build a controller or some kind of leveling system that will prevent this, that will prevent the doors from opening if the floor is not level? And I'm like, man, 3 to 4 inches, there's some other bigger issue here. And it just seems like it sounds as if the cab's falling apart, or the guides are worn, or something. And but yeah, the kind of thing where in one of the points is that the guide rails were replaced a year ago, and I'm like, well, I'm not the guide, the guide shoes or the guides, whatever, replaced a year ago. It was a hydraulic elevator too, and I'm like, well, you might need to change them again. So you got to kind of figure out what's going on there. But yeah, for an elevator to flex that much, or the hydraulic piston to kind of bend, it's scary as hell. And I'm like, you know what? I would figure out why that's doing it before investing in any kind of controller or leveling system, because that's more of a leveling system error than anything. You can't really correct that kind of that issue. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. I'm telling you, it's kind of crazy stuff we get wrapped up in each and every day. It's like sometimes things should be a lot easier than they are, and they're just not. So anyway, check that out. Link is in the show notes. But interesting perspective. Typically, in the past, I've seen the IUC, kind of shooting to have more maintenance. And if you can hire more mechanics, that would make sense. But unfortunately, what comes with that is a larger, higher price tag, and when maintenance costs are so low as they are, the low levels that they are today, and everybody's beating each other up over that. I hope that someday people understand, or building owners understand, that you get what you pay for. So anyway, okay, enough of my rambling. DailyMail.com has an article: Chinese girl is sent somersaulting out of shopping trolley or shopping cart before landing on her head in latest escalator accident. What really kills me with this whole video thing is, let's see here. Footage from the incident shows, okay, I want to try, yeah. How come they don't have any kind of, okay, CCTV, oh, here we go. Expert on child safety warned that it is dangerous to allow children to stand in a shopping cart and when taking an escalator. Did they not miss the whole point here? Anyway, China's escalator safety has been under intense scrutiny in recent years, ever since a widely covered incident where a mother pushed her son to safety before she died, becoming trapped. Oh yeah, so you know what? I maybe the translation is incorrect, or I'm missing something here, but I don't really understand. So yeah, don't take shopping carts on escalators. How about that? How hard is it to make a pictograph that shows that and put it on every escalator in China? I should say. I don't know. Next article, the city of Hamilton targets those slow to act on elevator issues, and yeah, I would think that's probably a good idea. Never forget the phone call I got from a building owner who had an elevator that was very old, and he called me up because the requirement to bring his elevator up to code with fire service and some other stuff was fast approaching. Okay, like he's like, okay, I got like 2 months to bring it up to code, and I'm like, why are you calling me? Why don't you call, who's your contractor? And I, knew the contractor. I said, well, they've got a pretty good handle on what you need. Just call them. Come to find out, the requirement to bring the elevator up to code was like that he had like 5 or 6 years to do it, and just totally pissed it away. He didn't want to spend any money. He's like, I'm gonna have to sell the building. I'm like, well, sell the building. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, so I think if areas where landlords don't do the proper or take the proper measures to correct elevator issues or red tags or whatnot, or they really should be, hopefully, I know fining is one way of trying to get people to do stuff. At the end of the day, something has to happen, or some kind of accountability has to occur. So I know inspectors deal with that each and every day. When equipment's either red tagged or there's issues. I mean, I've heard some horror stories from some inspectors, which I'm like, yikes. Cars running with doors open, and I'm like, did you red tag it? It's like, oh yeah. So stuff. But who's to say somebody's not going to cut the lock off and keep using it? You know what I mean? So yeah, kind of scary. Next news article: child suffers hand accident on escalators being investigated right now. This did not happen in the United States. However, it did happen in Canada, or New Brunswick, I should say, coming from CBC.Canada. Investigation is underway into a weekend accident where a child suffered a hand injury in an escalator at the Market Square at St. John. Emergency responders were called to the Market Square in Uptown St. John Sunday afternoon after the young boy's finger became caught at the top of the shopping center escalator. Okay, again, hey, don't put your fingers by stuff that moves and meshes together. Keep it on the handrail. Maybe we need to put a whole bunch of Pokemon Go's on escalator handrails to keep things safe, right? I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, they got one warning sign that no escalators allowed. I don't know how many signs you got to have. I really don't know, but they're checking that out. Okay, serious accident occurred. Has nothing to do necessarily with the actual elevator. I don't think it had to do with some moving pulleys and machinery, which could be an elevator. But I don't want to click on the actual article. This happened at a cement company in Louisville. The reason why I linked it up was because there was another accident reported where a worker did fall down an elevator shaft. So it's not looking very good for the cement company. And and I don't know what OSHA does after you have one kind of fatality like that. But I don't think they're going to be too lenient on anything. And safety where this accident happened. It's a terrible accident. It looks as if it happened on a tower structure overlooking the river that they loaded up barges with cement, but not good at all. So I don't believe it involved an elevator, but we'll find out more information on that. Okay, last news article of the show: Chicago Elevator Association has a recap of the annual golf outing last Friday. And I want to thank Glenn, a part specialist, and Matt Dennett for all their hard work in making this a great success. Click on the video or click on the images. Looks like they had a great time. Wonderful weather. Wish I could have joined you. And thanks to all the sponsors who made that event an event that was legendary. So and on top of it, they raised about $2,000 for the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. So thank you, Chicago Elevator Association, for that. That is awesome. That money we put to hard work. So anyway, well, that's going to do for the show, everybody. As always, thank you for joining us. It's been my pleasure to bring the show to you. Now it's on to another cup of coffee or some post-production work on the show notes and the website and Facebook stuff for the next 30 minutes, and then get right into my workday. So yeah, Wednesday mornings are literally a day it's a very, very long day. I start wearing out like at 1 o'clock right after lunch, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to make it. So I'm getting old. That's all I can say, man. I'm getting old. So as always, thanks for tuning in. If you found an article particularly newsworthy or you'd like to share it, go for it. And if you don't mind, spread the word about the show. You are my best way of sharing the show and spreading the love. So everybody have a great rest of the week. Work safe out there and take care. Bye-bye.